A day after Brij Mohan Munjal led the Hero Group and made sure that there is a process that is initiated to restructure the family shareholding in two promoter firms of Hero Moto Corp, making his three sons equal partners. ET now caught up with the youngest son, SK Munjal, to talk on various issues that impact auto business, like the impact of rupee depreciation, commodity prices, and rising competition from Bajaj Auto and Honda. Sumit Chaturvedi began by asking the joint MD of Hero Moto Corp whether there are any real signs of slowdown in the two-wheeler sector.
What is happening in the overall economy is that the economy is growing, but the overall rate of growth in economy has slowed down. And that's quite clear. It's affected most sectors of the economy, as it's affected the automotive sector. And since you asked of two-wheelers in particular, two-wheelers have had phenomenal growth in India earlier years. And as the size of the base has grown, clearly some of that growth in percentage has dropped off. And we can see the impact of that right now. The signs have been around for a while.
There's a major depreciation in rupee. How is that impacting the margins of the automobile sector as a whole? How does it impact the profit margins of you people, two-wheeler players also?
The industry overall is going through a little bit of a churn right now. As you know, the exporting community in India is very happy with the rupee depreciation against the dollar, because most of the contracts have been in dollars for exports, and rupee is also depreciated against the euro. But overall what it's doing is it's increasing some of the costs due to oil imports going up. So the inflation has set into India, and it's increased some of the base material prices. Fortunately for the Indian industry, overall global growth of commodities has not been so high. So we've actually seen softening of some of the commodities rather than increase. So I think overall, whatever pressure, it's a mixed situation. Some inputs have gone up, and some have actually stayed there in spite of their increases. So I think the situation will actually get clearer as we go along in the rest of the year. But at this moment, most companies, as we know, have increased prices in the last couple of months. So some of the pressure of increase has gone off.
And sir, the competition is hotting up in the market. There are many players. There were players earlier. There are players now. But the gap is increasing in a big way. How do you see the competition landscape in the Indian automobile, especially two-wheeler scenario, going forward, and especially in this year?
I think what is happening is actually very good for the consumer. We are seeing more competition. We are seeing more intensity in competition in India in most sectors, as we are seeing in the automotive. And that's bringing for the consumer more choice, better products, better service, better features. Overall, I think as a nation, we are gaining from this. And as companies are putting in more effort, it's also growing the size of the pie in many sectors. So overall, I think it's like for any competition, until it becomes unfair competition. Competition is actually good for the system.
So one last thing, as you were saying, that petrol and diesel prices should be raised now because it is indirectly impacting everybody. So what is your thought on that? If it is raised now in some days' time, won't it impact the sales of your sector also?
See, what is happening right now is that because the prices are being absorbed right now by either the government or the oil selling companies, that is actually going on affecting the fiscal deficit, and thereby creating inflation all around in the entire system. So I think we need to find a balance. Some of this increase needs to be passed on so that the whole system can then function. There is an increase which is going to come sometime. So we all know that. There is already anticipation about that. I think it would be better for the government to pass on some of the increase, allow the system to absorb it, and then move on from there.